Hi, Kelly. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. Well, I will
Yes.
just shut off until later then.
Okay, sounds good.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ilya.
Hi, Susan. I can't see who's signed in yet.
Desiree, Alex, and Kelly Ream. There's Desiree. Hello, Desiree.
Hi. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Hi, I'm
Good luck.
early for my presentation, but wanted
That's
to watch.
great. That's great.
Well, we're a few minutes before 6, but we should have Juhi and Anita and Holly joining us.
And Kelly, can you remind me which project or which address you're speaking on today? Oh, I think you're
You're
muted.
muted. You're muted.
If that was for me, I'm doing Court Avenue.
Okay. Great. And Karina. And Jean, which item are you going to be presenting on?
135 West Council.
Okay, excellent.
Hi, Juhi.
Hi, Susan. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Ilya, do you know if Anita is supposed to join us?
Yes, and so I'm calling her right now.
Good. Thank you. Hi, Alex. You're muted, Alex. Unmute yourself.
Is that better?
That's it. Thank you.
Anita should be signing in. I'll check in with Holly.
So for the presenters, just to let you know, I can either share your screen, or I'm sorry, you can either share your screen or I can share my screen with the plans. So just let me know, what your preference is.
Holly will be signing in momentarily, and Anita.
And Ilya, I think that's going to be it for
Yes,
our committee.
exactly. We've got a quorum. Siri and Christopher are both traveling, one in Germany and the other somewhere else out of the country.
Oh, shucks, because I had them both as professors and I was hoping to say hi.
Aw.
I'm sure they would be happy to say hello. They both have taught so many of the people that we have reviews with that it's really delightful to see you all carrying on from the U of A.
Hello, Holly. You're muted.
There we are.
There we-
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
Holly, we're just waiting for Anita Rankin to join us.
I'm going to remind her how to sign in. She has trouble signing in. Anita's having a moment of technical difficulty, but I think with the new instructions, she may be okay.
I'm sorry, Ilya, what was that?
Anita was having trouble signing in, but I've given her a different way. She was going to punch in the telephone
Here she
code.
is.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Anita. Could you unmute your screen, please?
Okay,
Thank you. Very good.
thank
I'm
you.
going to call the meeting to order then, and let me call the roll. Ilya Sloan,
Present.
Susan Akins here. Holly Eisner,
I'm here.
Judy Evans,
Here?
Alex Oberlich,
Here.
and Anita Rankin.
Here,
Anita, thank you. We're trying to record the meeting, so that's why it's important for us to respond. Have you all had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? I noticed just one amendment. I think Juhi Evans' name was misspelled. There was no S on the end of her Evan. So if we could correct that.
It was on Chris's name. Mine was spelled correctly and Chris is missing the S.
Oh, okay. You caught that too. Good. Desiree, can you take care of that for us?
Yes.
Okay. Any other corrections of the minutes?
Motion to accept.
Do I hear a second? Holly seconds. Let me go around, say aye or nay. Ilya,
Aye.
Alex,
Aye.
Juhi,
Aye.
Holly,
Hi.
Anita,
aye.
Anita. All right, thank you. Then the minutes are approved. And I'm going to make a call to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Hearing no comments. We'll move ahead then. to the reviews. We have 3 reviews tonight. The first one is 135 West Council Street, and now I'll just turn this over to Jean.
Thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gene Goldstein. I'm a native of Tucson, basically. And with me is Diego Garcia, a partner with our firm, who actually prepared the historic package. So if there's any technical questions regarding that, I'm going to defer to him. Funny story, as a 3 and 4 year old, I hung out about 100 yards from here growing up as a kid, right around the corner. So this is kind of interesting that I'm now looking at a project right around the corner as an architect in the city of Tucson. Um, so I know what your committee does. I know this is a historic review. Um, I again, my dad worked at Myerson's in the mid 50s, so I understand the evolution of Tucson, the downtown, the importance of the historical nature of downtown, and I respect and I admire and I want to see it kept that way. Um, Having said that, this project is a little different in my opinion. Um, if I said there was historic value to this project, I would be lying to you. There really isn't. I understand why we have to go through this process. That's what the city statutes require. This is literally a 40-year friend of mine's attorney's office, David Hammeroff, on Council Street, and he's been trying for 10 years and unsuccessful at that to put up simply a 4-car steel carport structure to protect their cars during the day when they're working. Um, there's no historic value to the structure I just mentioned. Um, so I don't know where to go with this. I can only speak truthfully to you. That's all I bring to the table tonight. Um, this project is not on a important, but every street's important in downtown Tucson, but this is not on Broadway. This is not on Congress. This is not on Stone Avenue. This is not on Alameda or Church. It's somewhat on a side street. It to the north is a big parking lot, which who knows? Hopefully one day it gets developed as our downtown grows, but we don't know if that'll ever happen. Um, but I don't know where to go with this as far as trying to present to you and get you to accept that this is a historic project. We've tried to design a historic project. We've not. And we simply just want to try to help a good friend and a client put up what I've mentioned to you. So I don't know what else to say at this point to make you feel warm and fuzzy about this being historical.
That's not necessary. We do look at additions and structures that are new construction as well. It's mainly that we need to look at the proportions and scale and appropriate materials.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That concludes my presentation. Diego, did you want to say anything?
No, you pretty much summed it up well.
Thanks.
has everyone had an opportunity to look at the plans?
I think we need to see the plans now.
Diego has the plans. That would be very helpful.
So
Oh,
you
I do not. Go ahead, sorry.
you all have those, correct?
We need you to walk us through them, please.
Okay, so you're gonna pull them up on the screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, let me start from the beginning.
So you might want to go, that's a bird's eye view from the north looking south. We put a complete package together per the requirements of the city of Tucson. I would keep scrolling. You'll get there you go. That pretty much sums it up. So you can see Council Street to the north. I'm sorry. Yeah. And a court and church, in the vicinity. And the office building is directly to the south. And he wants to put this little structure right as you see it in the shaded area. And again, this is what we are proposing for this property. We had submitted a site development package originally uh, through the permit portal system, and we were told we have to come through the historic review process. So this structure will meet code as far as fire rating, setbacks. It'll have the drive that'll, and I spoke erroneously. I apologize. There's 5 spaces, not 4. It'll meet all the requirements for on-site maneuverability. And it's set up adjacent so that his office can use it and enjoy it.
Eugene, would you walk us through the dimensions and the materials, please?
The materials is a standard carport structure. There you go. That's pretty much what it looks like. All steel, painted steel in an earth tone color, with a roof covering of a metal decking, and its dimensions are approximately 20 by about 50. Am I saying that correctly, Diego? Is that
Yeah.
close?
Yeah, I mean the width of 5 cars and the depth of a car, which is like about 19 feet. So yeah, nothing bigger. And the height would be about 10 feet. Your standard height for a shade structure wouldn't be taller nor exceed the height of the adjacent buildings in which it's shading the cars for. Um, uh, as Gene mentions, nothing out of the ordinary or special.
And Diego's meticulously put together the design package showing all the different materials, paint colors, the steel tube steel supports, the steel beams, and the decking on top, which won't be really visible, but that's the roof structure on top of the carport. It's pretty much like a carport you see in other commercial developments, sometimes residential developments.
Thank you, Jean. The reason I requested that is that some of us don't have the capability, I'm on an iPad, to be able to pull up the plans that were submitted while we're
Okay.
talking about it. And so it's really helpful normally and just asking these basic questions. So thank you.
Yeah, and just so you know, there are some other locations around the downtown area that have these for precedence. So I don't know how critical that is to your um, review of this and decision making, but there are other locations and we documented those, um, just so you're aware.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wondering if anyone has comments about this. I'd particularly be interested to hear from Juby from an architectural point of view.
Yeah, well, when we review these, we do look at the contributing properties. So in like the immediate vicinity, and some of those precedents are a little further from El Presidio specifically. It would be interesting to see what other structures you've studied, particularly relative to the scale of the structure that you're presenting.
Yeah,
I don't think we took other surrounding locations and tried to match those. We did what, we studied the technical fabrication of this type of a unit and pretty much went with that for this location.
We do have a similar example, Juhi, between on right off of Granada, between the bungalow complex and Kingen Place. You can
That's right.
go-
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is it would be helpful to see elevations. As you know, it's a fairly pedestrian part of town. So the streetscape as a passerby is important on foot. Um, I think it would just be a smart part of the presentation to add, so we have a point of reference.
She just, if you pull up we were just looking at elevations of the carport structure.
With dimensions and in comparison to the contributing properties.
Okay. The existing office buildings are around 14 foot tall, and this structure will be about, at the top will be about 11 feet for comparison.
Sure. I mean, I'm very familiar. I live in the neighborhood. I'm a homeowner in the neighborhood as well. But I think for documentation's sake, it would be helpful piece of information to have in this package.
And you'll probably be asked when you go to the commission to provide that as well. So just it's preparation for you for the next level of review.
Okay.
Great, I think dimensions here would be helpful too, just and then on the elevations as well. And so
Okay.
when Juhi mentioned the comparison to the contributing properties, I think just putting the heights of these two buildings would be helpful. as
Okay.
well.
So some horizontal dimensions and some vertical dimensions.
Yeah, I think it would be convincing to show that proportionally it's taking precedent from what's already in the neighborhood, like what the
Even though
reference
even
that
though those
Julian
are already
made.
single-story buildings.
Yeah, for documentation, I mean, I think architecturally speaking, that's an important piece to have in a set.
I think that's a good idea for all the reasons that have been stated. I would also mention, however, that as far as I know, the Center for Biological Diversity, which is the main example that was used, never got reviewed by this committee. Ilya, can you check my memory on that?
I'm sorry, I missed your comment. Someone is ringing my doorbell. Would you repeat that, Susan? I'm sorry.
I can't recall that the Center for Biological Diversity ever submitted its shade structure.
We did a full review.
Okay,
They were putting solar panels on top of it as well.
yeah, I remember the solar panel part.
But you're right. I don't know about that. It was a structure plus solar panels, I believe.
Yeah. Has anybody considered, Jean, putting solar panels on top of this, or is it in such a position that it would be ineffective to put solar?
I can't speak for the owner and his budget, what he can afford to spend. Is there a reason why the committee is pushing a solar panel for related to a function of a carport?
I'm not pushing it, I'm just
No, I'm
questioning.
just, well, I mean, that was probably the wrong word I used, but is there a reason you're suggesting a solar panels on top of a functional carport?
I was just curious because you cited the Center for Biological Diversity structure as
I did,
I did.
oh, okay, you did, yeah, okay.
Right. I think that the rationale for asking that question is that if it is something that your client was considering.
Oh, no, he's not.
Okay, rather than having to come back and we do a second.
No, he's not. Okay, I got the impression you were suggesting he should do that.
No,
That's
no.
why I read that.
That's
No.
not our role.
Okay, good.
just questioning whether that had
Yep.
been
No, he's not.
Are there other comments about this project?
Ilya, I can't visualize right now what the parking structures look like from the Center for Biological Diversity? Are they similar to what's being proposed here?
If memory serves, they're similar. I can't remember. We had discussions with the uprights, the supports for the structure at in the biological, their parking area, and some landscaping, but that whole is a freestanding parking lot with no other building on it. And so, and there was vegetation, so our concerns were placements of the uprights of the supports and enough room for car doors to open, but also that there would be some plant materials that there as well to sort of soften the effect, which isn't necessarily appropriate for here. So I think the structure was similar.
Yes, it is. It's very similar. I see it every day when I pull out of my garage.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. The center, it's much bigger. And I think that one of the issues here is that we do need shade. We live in Tucson, Arizona, and there are not so many ways to put shade up inexpensively, which I take it is part of the concern here, that have other aspects to them that make them more aesthetically pleasing. Was there any thought about using any vegetation? Again, that's just a question. It's not a challenge.
The answer is no. Yeah, no. The answer is no. Hadn't given that thought at this point. Could it be? Yes.
Well, that's one thing to consider because vegetation has a way of softening the industrial look of structures like this.
Mm-hmm.
And if it would be possible to do some of that, to soften it, that would be.
Well, can you scroll to the site plan again? Thank you. Yeah, I could see, in other words, if you look at the edge, the north edge of the structure to the right of way along Council Street, there's a little section there, which I think we could say to the client, we have to create a landscape buffer there. And put some landscaping there as you say, it's not a bad suggestion to soften this out.
And I think that goes to Juhi's point of that this is a highly used pedestrian area. And so that also would satisfy, some of those concerns as well.
I think that's a great idea. And I think I don't see a reason why that we couldn't tell them that they need to do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are there other comments or questions?
I have a comment that there seems to be limited room for maneuverability for the cars to turn around. So it couldn't be something that takes up a lot of room. I'm not sure what type of vegetation you have in mind.
Well, just at the very end, at the north end, where you're not dealing with maneuverability of a car, right? Yeah, right where your cursor is. That's where I'm thinking, which gives a direct buffering to the structure.
Right.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
It would just be for the width of the top of the
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not a drivable space.
Okay, got it.
And just to clarify again, so your clients face Church Avenue, is that the building that they enter?
I couldn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Your clients are lawyers on the building that faces Church Avenue? Is that
No, it
correct?
faces, if you look where the shaded structure is, just to
Mhm.
your left, just your left is the Hammeroff Law Firm.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other questions or comments about this project? Well, would someone like to make a motion to approve this project with the proviso that some kind of appropriate plant material be added on the Council Street side right there in that opening between the edge and the sidewalk?
I'll motion that we accept the proposal as presented with the condition that some appropriate landscaping be used to soften and to a degree improve the view from the street.
On the north end of the lot.
Exactly, on the north end of the structure.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion, further discussion? All right, let's do a roll call then. Ilya?
I
I vote aye. Holly?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Anita? Anita?
she's muted.
Aye.
Thank you. It's unanimously approved with the proviso that the plant material be added to soften that north edge of the
Perfect.
structure.
That sounds great.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you,
Thank you,
committee.
Diego.
Thank you, committee. We appreciate your time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi. We now move to, excuse me, was there a question, comment, Desiree?
No, sorry.
We now move to project B, which is 261 North Court Avenue, the project proposed by BWS Architects, also a parking canopy. Who is
Right, technicians for
Kelly.
sustainability, the contractor for this. Kelly Ram, my one of my coworkers, Bethany, is also on the call. Desiree, I'd be happy to run my own screen when the time comes.
Okay.
This is within sight of the previous project. It is Burnswald or BWS Architects wanted a shade structure in their parking lot with solar on it. And they have a small amount of parking. This, again, is unambiguously a new project. It is about as modest as we could make it for the space. It's only 2 modules high. It's got a setback from the street, so the tree is still there. It's set back a little bit from the adjacent property, which has some landscaping. And it has to have a minimum clearance for cars and be at a bit of a tilt, so the solar production is decent. But the top of the array is within a hand's breadth of the height of the building it's next to.
Kelly, could you show us the plans? Share the
Absolutely. Let us see, where am I? I am here. There's that. Okay, well, I will just skip past what I just said and go down to show you where it is. So that right there is where they want to put the array.
It's
They
not
have a
showing
double.
up. Sorry, it's not showing up.
Oh, it's not.
No, the screen is black.
Ew.
Did
Well, that's
Desiree give her screen sharing?
Yes. I did.
Let me try again there. Share my screen. There. Sounds like screen sharing. Why is it not doing that? Can you see it now?
No.
No.
Now, sometimes if you're using multiple screens, sometimes you have to pick the screen that you're viewing.
Well, perhaps I can have Desiree pop it up instead.
Sure.
All right.
There we go.
So this is the development plan that has been to the city already and been checked for zoning. So the structure, their structure is on the north side of their parking lot. Fits between the building and the planting area to the west, which is a non-contributing building, and the planting strip to the east, which has a tree and some shrubbery in it. So their parking lot is a double side, and the lot immediately to the north is also just the parking lot, belongs to the office to the left there, left corner. And on the other side of that is El Charro. So, and across the street is the city parking lot. So if you could scroll down a little bit so we can see the profile. We have 8 foot of clearance from the bottom of the beam. So you can park a car under it and hopefully not hit anything. As you can see, it's just a skew higher than the adjacent building. And it's set back enough from the property line to not have fire setback problems in case that was ever developed into something else. Because the post is set back pretty far from the property line, people will have to be a little bit cautious when they get in and out of their car, but we passed this by the owners and they seem to be okay with it, or enthusiastic. So they have 6 parking spaces. We're going to be 7 feet from the adjacent building. We're going to be 7'9" from the property line, so we can keep that tree, which was a definite desire of BWS. In fact, they said, well, you can't have that many modules. We want to keep our tree. So if we scroll down some more here, please. Get that. And that is pretty much a repeat. So page down, please. My SketchUp skills are not that great anymore, but I still remember how to use pencils. So if you were standing at the big tree at the corner of the actual building looking towards the parking lot, this is the estimate of how it stands with respect to the building next to it. I should say that these are a newer kind of solar modules, so they're dark on the top and they're also mostly dark on the bottom. There'll be 3 posts that are painted brown. You would go down another bit here. This is pretty much what it would look like from the sidewalk on the north side in that empty parking lot looking towards BWS's building. BWS on the left side on Council Court. Yeah, sorry, I get confused. The building around the outside is contributing, but that blue part of the building is a modern addition that they tucked in there. Page down, please. So just showing again where it is and what the parking lot looks like and parking cover. You can see there's some beautiful vines on that opposite building and stuff, but softening it up. So please page down. That's the original building, which was restored and remodeled quite beautifully. And then the blue building, as I said, is an addition, a recent addition that's non-contributing. Page down, please. This is the official development zone for this property, the huge parking lot. Across the intersection is a building belonging to the Tucson Women's Council.
Mission.
And then there's a commercial building and 1 duplex, and most of the buildings to the north are El Charro, and there's another architect's office at the north corner. So page down, please. Most of these buildings in this zone are contributing, except for the one immediately to the west of Burns BWS. Page down, please. Yeah, I just have a lot of pictures. You can sort of go through those a page at a time, and we can always go back, showing the streetscape. From across the street, this is what it looks like. Continue. You know, if you're standing and looking straight into the parking lot, this is what you see. They have a beautiful tree on the corner of their building that will be completely unaffected. Continue. And if you stood in the empty parking lot and looked south, you would see the blue part of the building. So to continue on, you can just sort of roll on through those. Showing El Charro, a little more of El Charro. Finally, a poster Frost Murto's office at the corner, and the beautiful City of Tucson parking lot. Okay, and then these are the ones across the street to the south. And I believe Jean's project was just to the east of the one I circled there, or I outlined there, pretty much. It's in the same block, faces the same parking lot. There are some historic streetlights, one of whom is kind of sad looking. And if you continue on down, I'll eventually get to my materials. There we go. There's the Center for Biological Diversity canopy. And when I checked the El Presidio boundary, it was just on the other side. We also did that project. And it was a bit of a controversy because the palm trees that were right along that parking strip just interfered too much. But it's still got plants growing there. This other small one on Asbury Lane is within the Presidio boundary. Of course, you know, it's private property. I couldn't see very much of it, but it's also kind of set to the size of the buildings around it.
That's
And then
Christie.
finally, sorry?
Just to orient people, that's Christie's property, Christie
Oh,
Frank.
okay. All right. So if you go down, these are the materials. This is what these modules actually look like from the underside. We only just finished a project in Oro Valley where we used these modules. They're not quite as black as they were in my rendering because I was going off the manufacturer's marketing sheet, which was a little prettier. But this is the kind of bracing you have to have, although it won't probably be quite as extensive for the array that's only 2 high. The one to the right is another installation we've done. That's the typical underside of a solar module, but it's a representation of the dark beams and posts and the galvanized skirt that ends up going around the edges. And I think that might be it except for, the spec sheet. So you don't need to try and read those. Is there anything else you'd like me to talk about?
Thank you, Kelly. Are there any questions for Kelly?
Only you should have gone first. Be a good role model.
I admit it's like, oh, I've got a picture.
So Kelly, just for reference, do you know how, with the severe storm we had last summer, how the structure that's behind the Center for Biological Diversity, how did that withstand those severe winds?
As far as I know, the severe winds were not a problem. It did have a problem once when the garbage truck hit it. But there won't be any garbage trucks pulling into this one.
Right.
Bethany, do you know anything about any other damage at CBD? If you're still there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. No, we haven't had any damage, and they're all certified and engineered for wind.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
I have a general question. How is the height determined? Well, first of all, I really appreciate how much you've studied the context and contributing properties and holding on to the tree. I look forward to passing under that tree. It offers so much shade. And I believe the structure will do the same in adding additional shade for pedestrians. I'm just curious, like if that's just the optimal height in the context of the surrounding buildings, or if it's optimal for cars, or how is that elevation decided?
Typically, the first limiting factor is wanting to keep a clearance of either 7'6" or 8 feet below the bottom of the beam, so you can get a car under it without ripping the hole in the roof. And then the height is determined pretty much by the angle of the array. This is a 15-degree array, and that is a thing we can adjust to a certain extent to optimize production. Sometimes we need to make the array a little bit steeper because the parking stripes are only so long, and you're not allowed to overhang the end of the parking stripes because then you're in the drive aisle again. So in this case, it happened to work out very nicely that two big modules fit in the parking space, didn't run over onto the other property, and were the same height as the building. I could have probably, gotten another 6 inches less height out of it if we really wanted to, and we still could, but 8 feet is nice.
Okay, yeah, I think there's like a sweet spot in not kind of overwhelming the pedestrian experience. But I also appreciate that solar panels are being utilized here. It's definitely not a historic, there aren't really precedents, but I think mitigating the heat island effect is really important and using our most natural resource. Yeah. Is there opportunity to add more trees? I don't know if that's in the scope of this project at all, but
I am not sure there's much left to put trees in.
yeah, I
Because
know
the
it's tight.
parking strip at the sidewalk is 5 feet wide and it's got trees in it already. And there's just that small space next to the adjacent building that's got shrubbery and the nice vine and all, but I don't think you could really get a tree in there. It would probably have to be brutally pruned to keep it from rubbing on the solar modules. I was going to say something else, but now I remember. The siting of the array being really close to the property line there is the neighbors with the empty parking lot are going to get a certain amount of benefit too, just for free, depending on the time of year. So.
Yeah. Other comments or questions about this? I'd like to echo Julie's gratitude for the detail that you brought to us. It was very thorough and therefore very much easier to evaluate.
Thank you. I really sweated bullets over that.
Other comments or questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve or disapprove this project?
A motion that we accept the project as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Ilya, excuse me, Ilya moves and Holly seconds that we accept the project as presented. I'll go through the roll again. Ilya?
Aye.
I say aye, Susan. Holly?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Anita? Anita?
Aye.
Thank you. It's unanimous.
Aye.
It's unanimously approved.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much
Thank
for
you
your
very much,
consideration.
Ellen, for that presentation.
All right. Thank you very much. We will let the architects know they're be happy. Bye.
Bye-bye. Our third project is 180 North Main Avenue behind the Knox Corbett House, connected to the Tucson Museum of Art. Tarina? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Alrighty. Yeah, I could go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. All right, let's see. Can you see, could you see the drawings?
Yes.
Okay. I went ahead and pulled up our CDs too because it has a little bit more information. This is one that we had presented, I think it was a pre-application historic review.
Yeah.
And that's correct. It is the J. Knox Corbett House, early 1900s residence that was built in the neighborhood. And now the Tucson Museum of Art, either I'm not really clear if they own it or they're leasing it from the city, but they use it. It's on their property. And it's recently it's undergoing a couple of changes. Well, about 2 years ago, it had a dumpster fire. So they have the structure itself has quite a bit of damage. And somewhere in that time, they also decided they wanted to slightly change the use of the building. Even though it's gonna remain a A3 assembly occupancy. It used to be an exhibit space for the museum, and so they kind of had the period clothing and furnishings in that house. Now they want to use it as one of their event spaces. They have a couple of event spaces on their property. And so this would be for smaller events. They want to renovate it to the period that it was. But we did need to do some upgrades based on the occupancy type. And the fact is that we are now adding sprinklers to the building. So that's going to require redoing the water line here. The city of Tucson required originally the fire riser room. We were going to try to fit it on the south side of the building, but the fire riser is moved to the north side because, well, the original plan was just to go ahead and try to tie into the water line in Main Avenue. But they need us to tie into the water line in Washington Street and upgrade it all the way back to the Main Avenue line. So there's going to be some work in the parking lot to do that. It's already had a development package, and so we just used the one that was previously approved by the city as far as parking and so forth, because we're not changing any of the parking that's existing there. But let's see. Yeah, and so I didn't really include the interiors of the project, but we're adding some. There is two existing storage rooms inside, and we're making those ADA accessible and adding stalls that will serve the event space. Exterior, the building is this isn't a historical review, just for your, or historical photo, just for your reference. It's the white stucco. From the photo, I will assume that it's the green that it is now, but I don't know for sure. And it has the tile roof. We could never, we looked and looked to try to find historical reviews of the backside. You see this building went through many changes over the years. At one time, an art college was operating out of here, and so they had changed the back quite a bit. So now on the back of the building, we have asphalt shingles. Originally, the owner, we were thinking we could replace all of the roofing with the tile, the red tile, mission style tiles, which they have managed to salvage some. But on the back of it is currently asphalt, and this is going to be quite a project because structurally, from the fire that started in a dumpster in the alleyway, it moved up into these eaves, and there's smoke damage all throughout the building, but the existing roof framing all has to be replaced. Most of the roof will have to come out during construction, but we have salvaged some of the tiles, which we plan to reuse. All exterior paints, soffit details, gutter details, we just plan to replace what's there. We're not going to change the look of that. There's an old sleeping porch. Originally, this wooden staircase is dilapidated. And again, because we have no historic photographs of the east side of the building or the back side of the building, we're not sure if the staircase is original or it was added later. But originally we wanted to replace that with a steel staircase, just because this one it's just barely functional. But it may not be in the Museum of Art's budget to do that at this time. And here's just the photographs looking out from the property. They have a very nice lawn there. This is the parking lot where that work is going to be done to bring in the new line for the fire riser, for the sprinklers for the building. And the elevations. We're pretty much not changing anything on the exterior, but the things that we are changing, pretty much we're repairing. We're going to give them a new HVAC unit because that equipment was also destroyed in the fire. And right now they have some, there's a basement level. They're kind of falling apart grills, I would say, for the ventilation under the flooring. So we're going to replace those.
But again, like with like, correct?
Yes, but so I'm trying to remember what the existing conditions are. And let me get back to one of these photos because it seemed like I have more photos. If I need to, I can dig through my photos because it seems like it's not original. Or if the original was wood, they're gone. So it would just be like a bar grating that would, you know, finish wise, let's see what we're calling for that. Metal grate. So probably, you know, they would probably be painted we could either paint it to match the field color of the white house or the green, where all the metal, you know, match the metal downspouts. And the new unit, or the unit will be replaced, but it will be behind the existing wall. They also had some awnings, which I think the original photo, they had these green and white striped awnings. That was part of the project too, because partly it got damaged in the fire. But I don't know if it's in the budget. So it's kind of like if they have money left over, otherwise they'll probably just take them off for now. Sorry, I'm just going back and forth with the context.
While you're doing that, may I ask another question? If that staircase, which you're right to say is very, very rickety,
I can get into the demo.
if you
Yes.
can't pay right now for a metal replacement, what would be the plan for that staircase? Would you just block it off so that it wouldn't be a danger?
They really should. Right now it's in the drawings, it's shown, but we don't have anything in it right now.
I'm wondering for fire safety and requirements, because there's a second story room that whether it's just for storage or if it eventually will be used, that it must requirement will be that there is an exit from there.
Yeah,
The city may
bring up
require that.
Oh, yes. Yep. Yep. We have our code plan. So I show in our, for our occupant loads, I just show them using this, it's such a low load because they're planning to just use those upstairs rooms, that they would do need to be rebuilt. Those will just, the loads are so low, the occupant loads, that, they'll just use the interior staircase. But you're right, it would be nice to have a second option in the case of a fire.
I think that they're going to require that you do.
Yeah.
Because you've got the, if you're a fire in the interior, that interior staircase does you little.
Yeah. Yep. So the assembly, where the most of the occupant load is actually the main level. And so we do show more than one exit on that level for egress. Let's see. This is our development zone map. So lots of contributing structures around our building. The inventory form. Construction date was 1906. And then I'll just take you to the renderings. So this was, in our last review, we had more improvements. Like I said, replacing that exterior staircase, putting in a site wall, and replacing the existing masonry walls. I do not believe these are original. But due to budget constraints, we're just back to leaving in the existing pavers that are there. And this is just open to the parking lot, which that's not ideal for events, you know, you don't want little kids running out into the parking lot, but that's where we're at with this submittal. We're just showing the courtyard in the back. And so, you know, just giving them ideas of how they could use that space, but so with the string lights or whatnot. And then we're going to add some color on the interior, but the exterior, we picked out two paints from the Sherwin-Williams line. But of course, we're asking them just to match the exterior colors. And oh, and there's a sample of the awning because that awning was destroyed in the fire.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Rena. All right, are there questions or comments about these plans?
I have a question. The last person that presented this, they were showing in the assembly area renderings of a metal gate. Is that now the site wall that you described?
Yeah.
Okay. That was an
Yeah, that
improvement
was,
they were looking for, because it had a really graphic visual, and I think that site wall is an improvement.
yeah, it really was. We were just kind of following the outline of here, trying to tie into the building, but not copy what was on the building and all and so forth. But yeah, I'm really sad. I hope that we can add it back into the project at some point.
I appreciate that it's just the site wall rather than this graphic image. But you're saying that there needs to be additional boundary or more partitioning. Is that what you're saying?
Practically speaking, because that's right next to a parking lot. I'm just thinking because they have like weddings and such, or you know, whatever kind of events they would be hosting. It'd be nice just to have that if you have the overflow space in that courtyard, just to be able to provide a boundary for whatever's going on out here with the parking lot right there. Maybe at one, because this underwent, I mean, I could pull up I think on our last presentation, we showed how the art college had changed that whole, like they had built over this whole entire courtyard, like a second story, but it's not there anymore. At some point it was removed. It would have been nice to have photos from the back just to see what it used to look like. Did they have a courtyard in the back, or Was it just open to the desert? I don't know.
You know, there was a small courtyard. I remember taking classes there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the gate that we saw in that earlier presentation was overly baroque for the quality of the building. I think Julie maybe that's what you're thinking about.
That's correct.
Just if a gate were there, just a simple gate would be more in keeping with the quality of the house and
Yeah. Just like we were trying to mimic the arch in the front, we were also there's a little gate out on the street. So we were just trying to kind of tie it in with that for a precedence. Like,
And
No.
if at some point you'll have to come back to us with that addition, but currently it's just the site wall. And there are temporary things that you could do regardless with events in just creating a barrier at the edge of the parking.
yeah.
Are there other questions or comments?
So yes, one other question. So you mentioned that there have been some of the tiles that were salvaged from the damage to the roof, but you haven't specified exactly whether the back portion will remain with the shingles or whether you will be able to tile the entire back roof as well.
I would love to just tile the whole roof.
The ideal.
But right now we just have replacing like for like, even though that's probably not historically, probably did not use asphalt shingles for half of the roof. They would have,
Right.
there's other buildings in the neighborhood designed by the same architect, and you could see that the Saltillo tiles or the mission style tile roof, they would have covered the entire roof. They wouldn't have just done
Right.
That's
the
right.
front part. So that was, I think, when this was an art college, maybe that some of them got removed. And, I think structurally we do, because originally we were keeping those in. I think structurally, the option is there. Like he's got it sized, the new joist framing and everything sized. If they come up with the funds to put all the mission styles back on the entire roof, that we could do that. It would just, they don't have enough tiles to cover the entire roof. We would need to match the existing.
Thanks.
Other comments or questions?
Wanted to ask, so will you then be reframing in anticipation of replacing all the tiles eventually?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna see if I could pull up their framing plan. Oh, that's the basement. That's the floor. That's level 2, the roof. This was existing. I think you see the amount of frame, the roof's gonna come off. It's not gonna look the same for a little while, but they're gonna have to redo it. That's all the damage from the fire. Some of those joists are just charred.
So they're going to do a complete tear off and replacement.
Yes.
Other comments?
Oh, this is Anita. Is there any timeline on this project? I mean, I know it would be kind of loose, but
Well, it's still in for permit. I think, and I wasn't really clear on the process because this is the first time I've done a historical review, but I guess before we get the building, we've got a contractor on board who has been a little bit with us during the design. I think they're ready to go when we get the permit, and we paid the permit fees. So I guess we go through this review today, and then will there be more reviews to follow, or is it?
To the
There'll be-
commission.
Oh, the commission. Okay. So hopefully once that's completed, if everything goes well, then would we have a permit? Hopefully the contract, because they have money to start the project because it was a fire, so they have the insurance money. So, but I don't know how much more fundraising that I haven't been in on that, those conversations to know when they can start it, but I would assume soon because these damaged framing, I mean, you can see it from the street. That roof is sagging. It's, not in good condition. So
Definitely.
before the whole thing caves in, we need to get it fixed. So. Oh.
Other questions? Would somebody like to make a motion on this project?
If no one else is motioning, I motion that we accept the proposal for this stabilization of the roof as proposed.
I second. And Susan seconds. Let me go through the roll again. Ilya is a yes. I'm a yes.
I say yes.
Holly,
Oh, yes.
Juhi,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Anita. Anita,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
It's unanimous to approve going forward with this. Thank you very much, Karina, for that presentation.
All right, well, thank you.
That concludes our reviews. Are there staff updates? Desiree? Can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, now we can.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So we have a new historic preservation lead planner named Jason Lilienthal, who joined our team last week. So now we're up to a team of 3. So me, Michael, and Jason. And then we'll be getting a new archaeologist as well. So we have someone who accepted the role. So hopefully we'll be able to announce him soon. But that start date is August 18th. So hopefully everything goes as planned and we'll be a team of 4. So wanted to provide that update and hopefully we'll be better able to serve our community. So yeah.
Excellent.
Be a relief for you.
Yes, I'm probably the most excited out of everyone.
Great. Can you tell us just a bit about Jason's background?
So he's coming from the city of Houston. He worked there for 5 years as a preservation planner. He has a master's in historic preservation or history, one of the two. And then I think it's history and then certificates in preservation and in planning. He also, he did his graduate work in San Antonio. And so while he was there, he volunteered with the San Antonio Historic Preservation Office. I think he also volunteered or interned with the Providence, in Providence with their office. So also has, will bring experience from different places. And he's from New Mexico originally. So I know he's very excited about coming back to the Southwest and the desert environment. His family owned an Adobe construction company. So he's a big fan of Adobe and yeah, I think he'll be
Excellent.
good fit.
That's great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for that information and
Yeah.
congratulations. It's wonderful. We're all
Thank
going to be
you.
glad to have
Yes.
people in that office.
Could I submit a concern, suggestion that I think it was difficult for the first applicant, not either totally grasping some of the specifics that would be helpful, the comparative buildings on either side, that this is where staff really can play a great role in saying, you minus this or would really help you succeed in this, particularly looking back now at a major project, a really complex major project that we reviewed for Activate El Presidio, which did not give elevations, did not give specifics, placements, scale, and that should never happen again. It should not be able to move forward and come to us when we don't know scale, size, number of structures, placement of structures, placements of planters, et cetera. So we really depend on you, and hopefully you and new staff with more
Yeah.
support can assure that that happens, because
Yes.
I think for a long time we did not realize that we could refuse to do a review if there wasn't sufficient supportive materials. And I think going forward, we will never make that mistake again.
Okay. Yeah, that's really helpful feedback. And I know we are looking at application instructions and materials to be more specific and to be more helpful, to be more accessible, all that. I'm also looking at pre-application meetings with
Yeah,
staff. I think that
exactly.
for full reviews. So that is in our code, right, as an option.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe we'll start it out by offering it as an option, and then, we can go from there. I mean, we could always make it required as well, but I think at least starting with an option, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely inconsistencies in kind of the quality, and, we want to be consistent what we're asking for, and yeah, and just have a closer look. So I think we'll have more capability now that we have more staff. I think that's been staffing has been the major issue, barrier there.
And
I might also recommend, with these sorts of situations, if you're gonna provide recommendations, is to have exemplars. Because
exactly.
the idea that there are recommendations, but there aren't standards to meet, kind of defeats the purpose. And so I strongly recommend that for consistency in the applications that move forward.
Okay, so are you referring to like examples or standards, or both?
So exemplars are best practices. So if you were thinking of, okay, this is a really good application, it meets all of the criteria, it has all the, whatever it is that you determine is important for neighborhoods to review and take into consideration as they move forward. And that might also be helpful to bring to the neighborhood so that they can help you define that. But the exemplar is what then the applicants try and live up to.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Desiree. Thanks to everybody for giving up this time in your evening. And we'll see you next time around.
And thank you, Susan, for moderating. Excellent as always.
Yeah.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.